Hi ladies, I'd like to ask you all a question. Has anyone in this room ever dreamed about winning the lottery? I mean striking it big. What would you do? Well, I'd like you to take a look at this gentleman right here. He won $350 million. And when he was accepting his check, he made this big statement: I'd like to take this opportunity to say goodbye to my wife, my family, and my friends. Now, what was he thinking? Who saw that coming? What would you do? I'm sure we could sit around and talk for hours about the good things we would do. But have you ever thought about the negative things, the headaches that come along with it? And think about this. What if you wind up losing it all because you didn't know how to manage it? That's a scary thought. Now, there's a gentleman that won the largest lottery in U.S. history. I'd like to tell you about him. His name is Jack Whittaker. On Christmas Day of 2002, he won $314 million. But you know what? Jack came to see winning that money not as a blessing, but as a curse. And even though everyone that wins the lottery isn't destroyed by the wealth, Jack's life got twisted. And he wound up entangled by the fame and the fortune, and it changed everything about his life. And during the minutes that follow, I want to give you some details on how his life changed. Eventually, his life just took a downward spiral and was unraveled by wealth, greed, lust, alcohol, and tragedy. He started out as a very successful businessman. He loved his wife, he loved work, and he loved God very much. When he won the money, he pledged 10% as a tithe to the church. He also started a foundation that helps clothe and feed low-income families. He went back to the convenience store where he got the ticket, and he bought a lady there a house, $50,000 in cash. He gave away about $50 million in gifts to family and friends. So with all that good, where did he go wrong? I'd like you to take a look with me. In the Bible it says, 1 Timothy 6:10, "For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs." Jack came to have many griefs and regrets. Let's take a look at what happened. Suddenly, everywhere Jack went, people were asking him for money. And he even made a statement that, you know, his friends, practically all of them, had asked him for money or something. And once he gave them the money, he could no longer be friends with them. So Jack wound up very alone and friendless, which led to drinking. He started drinking very heavily. And after that, he got into, legal troubles. He had 2 DUIs, assault and battery charges. His car was parked outside of a strip club, and thieves got into his car and stole $545,000 cash. Now, who carries cash like that in your car? He even was sued by a casino because he bounced $1.5 million worth of bad checks to cover his debts. Well, his wife, Jewel, eventually divorced him, and they had been in love since they were in the 8th grade. Now, when Jack first started out, all he wanted to do was share his money with his family. He had a 17-year-old granddaughter named Brandy, which was the light of his life. Well, he started giving her $2,000 a week in allowance. And the same thing happened to her that happened to him. She lost all of her friends. And she became actually a target of drug dealers and became heavily addicted to drugs. And in December of 2004, just 2 years after winning the lottery, she came up missing, actually. And they did find her, but she was dead from a drug overdose. And her body had been wrapped in a plastic tarp and thrown under a rusted out van, and she had been there for weeks. Now that was 2 years to the date that he won that money, because her funeral was actually on December the 24th of that year. In an interview that aired on ABC's news program 2020, Jack actually said, "I don't know where all this is going to end, but I do know I don't like Jack Whittaker. I don't like the hard heart that I have. I don't like what I've become." He lost everything. And there's also an interesting statistic that was written by Dina Winter. She's a reporter for the Lincoln Journal-Star newspaper. And in this article it says 70% of all lottery winners will squander their winnings in just a few years. In the process, they'll see family and friendships destroyed, and the financial security that they had hoped for will just disappear. Again, not everybody loses everything when they get this kind of money. But Jack's life actually just became undone by greed, selfish desire, and even tragedy. in the face of such a tragic story, I think it would be wise for us all to look at the Bible and see what it has to say. In Matthew 6:24, it says that no one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. So